Oh my goodness. Welcome to the Motherhood and podcast, where we talk about all things motherhood and everything else in between, because we are not just moms. I am your host, Anna Shep from That's What Shep, and I am joined by my lovely and beautiful co-host, Sophia Foster from Foster's Homestead. Wow, that was a pain to get in here and to get recording.
A whole 52 minutes.
A whole 52 minutes that we've been trying to actually get the camera rolling, and this is time number 7, I think. So we're gonna hope and pray that our internet doesn't cut out and that this recording saves and that we get this out to y'all in the next couple of days. Because my goodness, this has been the odds have been against us, to say the least, but nevertheless, we are here, and we are looking forward to having a very fun conversation about physical health today. Talking all things that I guess go on your body, like clothing and beauty products and the like, from a non-toxic, natural kind of standpoint. Before we get into that, how was your week, Sophia?
It was good. I went to the zoo with my husband and baby. For me, it's been, I think, 3 or 4 years since I've been to the zoo. So they had a new exhibit out. They had the Galapagos Islands. So they had penguins and sea lions and jellyfish and seahorses, and
That's cool.
The penguins were having a sex party. It's like mating season for the penguins, and they just
that's
beautiful. So the parents were like, let's go on to the other exhibit. They're like 3-year-olds.
That's so funny. We haven't been to the zoo in a really long time. I honestly can't think of the last time I've been to the zoo, because the zoo in Atlanta is okay, but the Georgia Aquarium is a lot better, and everybody loves to go there. So we are more aquarium people than we are zoo people. And I love the beluga whales at the Georgia Aquarium. Yeah, the Georgia Aquarium is really cool. We actually yesterday, was it yesterday or Tuesday? I don't even remember now. Sometime this week, me and my husband were going around the property, and my parents have a big pond. We call it a lake. It's not a lake. It's like a pond. But it's probably like a couple acres, like a 3-acre pond. It's pretty big. And every year there are geese that come through here. And we saw this flock of geese fly in. It was a small flock, like maybe 5 of them. And they landed on the water, and then within a split second, out of nowhere, here comes these other 2 geese who had apparently already been at the pond, and geese are territorial, and so they start having this fight on the water, and they're trying to chase each other off, and it was pretty interesting to watch. And I guarantee it's because last year there was 2 geese that came, and they laid some eggs, and they had 4 little geese babies, and they were precious and adorable. So they probably have already laid their eggs here, and so with 5 new geese coming in, they were like, "Get off my pond, bro!" Because hey, I ain't letting nobody else come up in my space either. I'd be territorial too if Mama Bear comes out, so I get it. But it was a pretty cool experience to see, the geese coming in and the other geese being like, "Get away!" So yeah, that's fun. Watching animal life is really interesting.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is super, super fun. But yeah, I think I am for talking.
How was your week? I'm sorry, I'm being so terrible.
Thank you for asking. Honestly, I'm kind of having a quarter-life crisis right now. Don't be alarmed. It's okay. But so the algorithm on Instagram suggested me this reel, and I watched it, and I was like, this is explaining areas of my life that have never made any sense, and just putting pieces together. So for a quick backstory, and not to get too deep into it, after I had my son, I was experiencing a lot of over tightness in my pelvic floor. And so I eventually went in for a postpartum pelvic floor therapy appointment. It's a lot of words. Because my chiropractor, when I was explaining to her like what my symptoms were, she was like, "Yeah, you definitely want to take care of that before you have any more kids." So I went in to see the pelvic floor PT, and I only went to the initial appointment because I don't know if you have gone to pelvic floor PT, but holy moly, the appointments are so expensive.
Oh,
Like, I personally cannot afford $175 per appointment going one
right.
time a week. That's just not feasible for me at all. So it was one of those things where it's like, probably need to pay the money to get my pelvic floor, restored. Also, I might be okay with it being a little broken for a while. Like, it was ridiculous. But even just that initial appointment where she did the full assessment was very insightful for me, and then she gave me some exercises to work on moving forward, and that eventually like did really help. I never went back, but
Mm.
I feel like things have resolved, at least the acute issues that I was experiencing. But the point being that she told me in that initial appointment that because she's not just a pelvic floor physical therapist, like she does all sorts of physical therapy, and then she has pelvic floor as a specialty. So she assessed my entire body, and she was like, "You are hypermobile through almost all of your body," and I had never even heard the word hypermobile. It's apparently what you and I would call like double jointed. But there's weird things that I can do with my body that other people my entire life have been like, please stop showing me that. That's so weird. And so then on the algorithm the other day, this physical therapist who her handle's like the hypermobile PT came up on my feed, and she was like, signs that you're hypermobile. And she starts going through all these things, and I'm like, why do that and that and all of these other things that you're talking about? And I had no idea that was, attributed to hypermobility. And then, so now, like, I've gone on this deep dive, and I apparently may or may not have this rare genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And yeah, just try to figure that out. I don't think it's one of those things where it's like a diagnosis is worth anything at this stage of my life, but it may or may not explain why I have experienced chronic pain my entire life. But, so there's that. That's what's happening with me.
Wow. I'm sorry, but it's also good that you found it out and
Yeah.
are able to have more like knowledge to it.
Yeah. See, and I think that's kind of like the place that I like to come from, because I am a researcher by nature. And so, like, if I can just have more information and knowledge around something, it helps me understand, my circumstance better, and then like approach it better, I guess. So for me, that's really like the only area that I think it would be beneficial in. Because I had, I guess, kind of already conceded to living in chronic pain for the rest of my life. But, that is what it is. But anyhow, that's not the topic that we are talking about today. We can just dive right into it. What would you like to talk about first? Talking about our physical health.
Yeah. Do we want to go for nutrition? I feel like that's like the big elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah. Especially postpartum, like trying to eat 3 solid nutrient-dense meals a day
Oh gosh, I'm the worst.
while breastfeeding a whole other human is insanity. It's like near to impossible.
Yeah. I'll just talk, I guess. I'm the worst at eating, honestly, like even remembering to eat. And when I do get hungry, like, because when I wake up, I don't necessarily wake up hungry, which I've heard is a bad thing. Like, I've heard, like, if you don't wake up and you're not hungry within, I don't know, an hour, then, like, there's something going on. So I don't wake up hungry, usually. And my husband will usually like be on me, like, you need to eat something, you need something, and I'll start cleaning or like doing dishes before I even take a sip of water. That's so bad. Because that's like I don't know. It's like an anxious thing in my head. Like, oh, the house is dirty. Like, I need to do that before I eat something. So I'll start cleaning. I'll start sweeping the floor, or I'll start changing her, feed her. And my husband's like, "So have you eaten anything?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Sophia." I'm like, I
No,
know.
I get it. It's hard. Like for me, I have in an attempt to put my physical needs, above everything else so that everything, I can be well taken care of and I can take care of the things. I have tried to implement this rule of first thing that I do in the day is I feed the people and the animals. And so that means I get fed, the baby gets fed, my husband gets fed, and he's not a breakfast eater, so half the time he just waits till lunch. And then I get animals fed. So like that's how I try to approach that. But there are times when I try to do that, it literally takes me 2 hours. Like the first 2 hours of my day are just trying to eat food. Like that's it. And then so then it's like, okay, well that's 2 hours that I could have put laundry in at the beginning, and then the laundry could have been cycling while I was eating, And so but then if you do the laundry first before eating, then it's like, oh well, I'll just do this one other thing before I cook breakfast. And then, you're 4 hours into your day and you haven't eaten anything. It's a vicious cycle for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
So yeah, and then once I do usually naturally I'll get hungry at like, this is so bad, like 4 or 5 p.m. That's when I naturally start getting hungry. So then I'll just be like, I need a meal, like a big meal. Like I need potatoes, I need steak, I need all these things that are gonna fill me up. So then I do eat, but it's just like really like for me like 3 p.m. and earlier is when I need to like get on top of myself, like actually doing it.
See, I didn't grow up in a household that ate breakfast, and because I'm back in my mom's house, in my parents' house, they still don't eat breakfast. So it's like like you said, did not have the hunger feeling in the morning, and it took me a while to get to that point, like making myself eat in the morning, until eventually it was like something switched, and then there's like I was just ravishing in the morning. Like if you didn't give me food right away, it was gonna be a bad day for the other person, not even for me, like for the other person. so I feel like I kind of got to that point, but it's been hard lately because I'm back in the environment where like nobody else is eating breakfast. So I'm the only one, who's like cooking some eggs for myself or something. So yeah, I honestly feel like it was a little bit easier earlier postpartum, even though earlier postpartum felt like more stressful in a way. But like other people were still focused on taking care of me. Now I have to take care of me. Nobody else is doing that,
Yeah.
So I wish.
So
how long do you think that we can hire postpartum doulas for? Do you think we can hire postpartum doulas for like the full 2 years afterward?
That would be great. I saw a post on Instagram. I saw a post on Instagram, and it was like, the mom was like 5 or 6 months postpartum, and she was just talking about how like when you're freshly postpartum up until maybe the first month, second month, people are like so willing to help you and so willing to bring a meal and do your laundry. But once you hit like a few months after, they're like, she's good. So she was just talking about how hard it was like having all this help, and then all of a sudden like you hit like, oh, the baby's a little bit older now, so she's fine, and then all the help drops.
Totally. I 100% get that. And, it's hard because I remember being pregnant and people acting like we were doing some church event, and I think I was maybe like 25, maybe, no, I was later than that. I was probably like 30, 32 weeks pregnant. And I was like trying to sweep the floors. And then all these people have been like, oh, you're pregnant. Don't sweep the floors. Don't do that. And then, like I'm some frail, incapable
Right.
human being. Like all of a sudden, oh, it's just, this sickness. And then, you're 8 weeks postpartum, you're back out doing some things. And then, like, you don't look like there's anything going on in your body. So then people don't, people don't reach out like the way that they do when they physically see that, you're caring for somebody. Like, I'm not just caring for a baby now, whereas before it was in utero. Now I'm caring for a baby externally, and I'm trying to like work out what's happening on the inside too. It's, postpartum is weird. Postpartum support in the US is weird.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's pivot for a second though, and because I think we could have an entire conversation focused on nutrition and diet and that kind of, like lifestyle stuff. And I think we totally should. We should have an entire like focused conversation on that. So let's pivot and kind of go the direction of let's talk, because I know you and I have had brief conversations about the natural fiber clothing, because we had mentioned that earlier. What kind of led you to being more inclined with natural fiber clothing, and like where are you at with that right now? Because I feel like this is one of the later things that I decided to take on in my like natural non-toxic journey personally.
I wouldn't say it was the bottom of the list for me. Now it's definitely not the bottom of the list. But when I started like getting into natural living and holistic and all the things, it was probably like the middle of the list, I guess. Man, I don't know. Like, do you know Really Very Crunchy on Instagram?
Yes, and she just released a book. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, but I have not read it or looked at it.
I know she did an audio version too, so I may get that, but I would love to actually get her book. And if y'all don't know what we're talking about, you can follow her, Really Very Crunchy, on Instagram. I think it's hilarious that people can't tell if she's satire or not.
I couldn't at first.
Well, the thing, I think it is like,
she makes fun of herself, which is funny.
Because there's some things that I know if she wasn't like hardcore crunchy, that she would even know about some of those things. And so, I mean, there's stuff that she's educated me on, like through her humor, and I'm like, oh, I've never even heard of that. But she's hysterical. I love it, and I love that her husband. Have you noticed that like the book saga? He's always reading like a related book in the reels that they make.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's like the title is always like something to do. It's really funny. Because they drop like these like little Easter egg things inside of the videos. I love her. But if you haven't heard Really Very Crunchy, she just released a book, and it's called Really Very Crunchy, something like a guide to removing toxins from your life without adding them to your personality, which I think is I think that's a great little tagline there. I love that. So I would definitely be interested in getting her book. But you were saying about her.
Yeah, so I can't say 100% that it was her that I saw it from, but like my Instagram feed the algorithm was like towards more natural things. So it slowly started coming up with like facts about polyester, facts about plastics in your clothing. I saw that Really Very Crunchy, like she posts a lot of links to her linen dresses and her cotton dresses.
Yes.
Which are expensive, but they're pretty. So I was seeing that, and it just caused me, I guess, to think about it I feel like Instagram educates a lot of my opinions, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Um, but it'll bring like Instagram will bring up a topic that I've
Yeah.
never heard of before in like the health world, and I'll be like, oh, I need to research that, so I will go and do my own research.
It's the nature of today's
Um,
world. You know,
yeah.
what it is.
So yeah, Instagram was popping up topics about polyester and clothing, and I think actually the first thing I saw was like clothing on your private areas and how that affects your
Yeah.
reproduction and male reproductive health.
Yeah, because
And actually,
doesn't it lower like sperm count and
yeah. So at the time when we were trying to conceive, these like things were popping up like, don't let your man wear polyester underwear, like get him in cotton. So I think that's actually what kind of like triggered it. So I switched him to some. We couldn't afford expensive things at the time. Well,
yeah.
still can't. So we went to Costco, and Costco will have organic cotton underwear for like 13 a pack. So I just picked him up some from Costco. That's where I get mine.
Okay. This is just another
um,
reason I need to get a Costco membership. Everybody keeps telling me all the things they find at Costco, and now
yeah.
now we can get underwear there too, apparently.
Yep. So I got him some cotton underwear. And yeah, and then from there on out, it was just like, oh well, I was started looking at the clothes that we had already and what the label said is like 70% polyester. And I was like, what the heck? And then I went and looked at like other stuff. I'm like, no, this can't be true. I started like getting rid of a bunch of my clothes. And then I kind of hit a point where I was like, okay, like I need to do this like money conscious as well. Like, yes, it's important, but also I don't want to just like burn my whole wardrobe and then have to rebuy all these clothes, which you can go to a thrift store. That is a great option to buy cotton clothes. But still, you don't want to get rid of your whole wardrobe. So slowly over, I guess it's been a year now. The past year, I've been just here and there getting rid of some stuff, and then here and there buying a cotton t-shirt or a cotton dress or whatever I find. And usually it's at the thrift store. Walmart has some good organic kids cotton clothing. Really like that. But yeah, that's where it started. And I'm still in a journey of it. This dress that I'm wearing is rayon.
Same.
It's not cotton. So I do
But it's
have a
pretty
few
though,
things.
so we just gotta do what you have.
Yeah. Yep. I would say maybe like definitely more than half of my clothing now is cotton or linen. I can maybe like 3 or 4 dresses that I have are rayon, and then one I have is polyester. But my husband bought it for me. Like it's really special, so I don't think I'm gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's where I've struggled, like with dressier dresses. I think
right.
because I have a lot that are hand-me-downs from my mom, and my mom has always been a fashion person, and so she has clothes on clothes on clothes. And so like every once in a while she'll do this purge, and like a lot of the stuff I've inherited from her is 20 or 30 years old. Like they're older pieces of clothing than I am. Like I got from her the dress that she wore um to my baby dedication. Like at church when
Oh
they
wow.
presented me back to the Lord. That was the dress my mom was wearing.
Aww.
I now wear, which I love that dress. I've worn that for years now. But a lot of those dressier dresses, they are polyester or rayon or like something like that. Which rayon is technically semi-synthetic, but
Right.
like bamboo, which I don't know if nobody told me about bamboo, Sophia, and I was upset
Yeah.
about it because okay. I
Yeah.
I got whenever I was getting cloth diapers for the baby. And I was like, oh, bamboo, it's the natural. And then found out, no, they're not natural.
Yeah.
Because for explanation, bamboo, like rayon, is a semi synthetic, meaning that it comes from something that is plant based or that is a natural substance. Like the source is natural, but the process that they use in order to create the fiber contains like toxic chemicals and things that are going to stay inside of the fiber as you wear it. So
Right.
it is semi synthetic, not semi natural. Yeah, notice that it's not semi natural, it's semi synthetic. It's more on the synthetic side. So yeah, disappointed about the bamboo cloth diaper, which it was like inserts, so those generally weren't against the skin anyway, but
Mm.
I still do use them every once in a while for like a booster at nighttime. But those, he has like a cotton workhorse on, so that doesn't even touch his skin. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so bamboo and rayon, if you see those, I know they're comfortable, but it's not what you think it is, ladies. But yeah, like you said, I think whenever I started, you know, living more low tox and doing things more naturally, it definitely wasn't in the forefront of my mind, thinking about like fibers and stuff. But I would say, especially in the last year and a half, I've been more conscious about it. But
Mm-hmm.
particularly in the last 6 months, I have been making a conscious effort that any new pieces that I bring into my closet are made from natural fibers. So,
Mm-hmm.
like over the winter, I needed a new pair of leggings, and I got on Amazon. I got these black, 100% merino wool leggings. They're like not the itchy kind of wool that you're probably thinking of, but they're super soft. I've loved them. They've been really awesome, and because of that, so I really liked that purchase. I got the baby a snowsuit that was made from wool, because if you lanolize it, it's like fully water repellent. So like the water
Mm,
just
yeah.
beads, like rolls right off. And it's super warm and snuggly. I love it. And then I thrifted a lot of wool. You can like in the wintertime you can find a lot of wool. So I got like I would go to the thrift store, and that would be all that I would be looking for was wool sweaters that I could either wear, or if it had like a hole in it or it wasn't my size or something, I could use for fabrics. So like I could make him mittens, or I could make him like cut it out and stitch up a sweater, something like that, for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So that has actually been a successful endeavor with the wool, which I have personally enjoyed. It's fun to like go to the thrift store and find these little gems, or at least that's what it feels like. It's like a little gem when you go in there.
Yeah.
And almost every time that I've gone to the thrift store looking for either linen or wool, because I I love wearing cotton clothes, especially in the summertime, because it's just like so light and airy. But I've tried to put my focus on the linen and wool more because of the frequencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to explain that a little bit?
Sure. Um, you might know more than me, but so from what I've heard is everything on Earth gives off a frequency. Rocks give off frequencies. Animals, even turkeys, give off like this certain frequency that's supposed to like relate with your liver or something. I
What?
don't know. Yeah, it's supposed to be like healing for your liver. This certain frequency that turkeys give off when they do like the.
Okay, hold on. You're gonna have to explain this a little bit more.
I saw,
Like
okay. I
is
don't.
it like they make a noise, or is it just the turkey themselves?
So I think it could be the turkey themselves, but they from owning turkey. So we just have one.
Hmm.
But so when a turkey is looking for a mate, they will do like the poofing up, like a peacock does with their
Yeah.
fan. And then he'll like gear up. He'll poof his feathers, and when he poofs out his feathers, he sends out this like sound, and it sounds like a zoom. Sounds like this frequency.
Okay, I didn't know that they did that. I've never heard that
Yeah.
before.
So they
And
do that
so,
when they're like trying to attract people, a mate.
so then what does it do with the liver?
I don't know 100%, but
Let me
I
take a
saw
switch break.
this. Sure. Um, I saw this video, and it was this guy. He has like a whole Instagram page. He's some sort of doctor, like holistic doctor. He has this Instagram page related to just frequency. So he'll go through like each animal and go through like what frequency the animal gives off and what healing benefits the frequency has. So I didn't watch the whole video. I was kind of like scrolling through it. But he did one on turkeys, and he gave the number. I forgot what the number was, but he gave the frequency that the turkey gives off, and he said it was related to your liver. So the certain frequency is beneficial for your liver.
Beneficial to the liver. That's so interesting. I would have never, ever known that. And so does he only talk about animals?
I think so.
Okay. You'll have to send me that because I would have to look into
Yeah,
that.
if it comes up again, I will send it over.
Okay, sorry, I distracted you. We were talking about the frequencies of clothing.
So yeah, everything gives off a frequency, and so does your. I don't know if polyester gives off a frequency.
I think it has 0 actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up.
Sure. So like I guess organic matter that comes from the earth has a frequency. Plastic would be synthetic and man-made, so she'll give an answer as to if it's 0 or not. But yeah, so cotton gives off a frequency. And so when you wear it, whatever you're wearing on your body could be beneficial or the opposite of beneficial. So wool and cotton have a high healing frequency. So when you wear it on your body, it's going to promote a better workings of your body as opposed to wearing something that's working against your body, is how I've understood it.
Okay, so I just pulled this up, and I think this is so interesting because, and I'll preface this by saying that I'm sure you've read this in the scripture where I know it mentions it in Numbers, and I believe also later in Deuteronomy. The verse that a lot of people will talk about, like mixed fabrics, like not mixing fabrics together.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you just, I think the one specifies it in the KJV, and then the other one just says mixed fabrics, but both of those verses actually are talking only about the same thing. And in the Hebrew, it's referring to a fabric blend that we either call linsey or woolsey. And it's a blend of linen and wool together. So it's not just saying, like, God wasn't like, don't wear, you can't blend polyester and cotton together. He was specifically saying, do not blend linen and wool together. And we now, like, know why that's the case. Because, like, God has this invested interest in the state of our bodies, like in our physical health as well, right? And like I love that, and so here's the explanation why. So synthetic materials such as polyester and nylon resonate at 15 hertz, and therefore these fibers have a very negative effect on the body, literally resonating at the frequency of disease, which is insane.
Wow.
And because, you had mentioned earlier talking about like polyester underwear, and like that impacting sperm. I don't know if it's just sperm count or if I'm sure it'd probably be motility and quality and all of those things. Like it, degrading the quality of your body. let's see, cotton. This actually, so I didn't know this. This says that organic cotton resonates at 100 hertz, which is higher than 15, which obviously than polyester. It says, and thus it has neither a positive or negative effect in the body. So cotton apparently is just neutral.
Neutral.
So like it's not good, it's not bad, it's just neutral. So
Yeah.
I mean that's good to know though. Linen and pure wool, however, both resonate at 5,000 hertz, which is 50 times the natural frequency of the human body. Okay, so okay. So this is why this makes sense. If that's 50 times the natural frequency of the human body at 5,000, that would mean that we resonate at 100 hertz. So that is why the organic cotton doesn't have a positive or negative, because it's the same as us.
Okay.
But 15 with a polyester is lower, and that's why it has a negative impact.
Down with it.
Yeah. Okay. And so this says that and this is what I was mentioning, that because linen and wool both resonate at 5,000, if you blend them together, their resonance is 0.
It cancels it out.
It cancels it out. And so I love the fact that it's in our Bibles that God was like, hey, don't do that. It's not good for you. Because if we're at 100,
do you want me to read the verse?
Did you find it? Yes.
Yeah,
pull it up.
So it says there's two. I'll read the Deuteronomy one. Deuteronomy 22:11 in the King James Version says, "Thou shalt not wear a garment of divers sorts, as of woolen and linen together."
Yeah. And so that's God specifically like pointing that out for our best interest on what we put on our bodies. Because he cares about even those little things. And I think that's just so beautiful and speaks so much to how much he loves us. You know? Like, even, like, because that's, somebody else is thinking, okay, that's such a minor detail. But for me, that, makes me giddy. I'm like, that's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah, so if you didn't know that about the frequencies of clothing, which now I've got this whole graph here that's, showing me all these other things. You could go on. They've done the science. I don't even know how they test this, but there's this one showing blends, 65% linen with 35% viscose, what the frequency is and stuff like that. So you can look this up, and yeah. And this actually says that non-organic cotton registers at about 70. So organic cotton is 100 and neutral. Regular cotton is 70, which I guess would technically have a slightly negative impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's so wild. I didn't know that. Okay, I just learned something new.
Yeah, me too, because I've been looking for cotton everything. Now I should be looking for linen and wool everything.
Man. And that's what, that's what they used to, in hospitals, they used to have linen bed sheets.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, my husband was going on a rant about that.
Yeah, we used to have linen bed sheets in hospitals, and now it's these, garbage bag, plastic, polyester. I mean, if y'all don't know, polyester is plastic. It's literally man-made plastic, and personally, I don't want to be wearing plastic on my body. We're told don't drink out of plastic water bottles, don't do this. The microplastics are killing you and they're in your bloodstream, and and then we're putting it on our skin too. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, your skin absorbs things that you put on it.
Yes. Your largest organ, the largest organ in your body. I tend to forget that because it's easy to not think of your skin as an organ.
Right.
But it's the largest, it has the most surface area. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, yeah, we could, I'm sure, harp on that for a minute. But we both are doing our best, I think, to go down that route. Do you have any like specific brands or anything that you can think of that, because like I said, a lot of like the wool that I've gotten has been thrifted, and I can't
Yeah.
remember. Oh no, the leggings that I got are I found them on Amazon. They are Meri wool, Meri, Meri wool. You can put that in the description. Um, I really liked those. Although I wish I would have sized down because the wool has a lot of stretch to it,
Oh,
and as I as I wear them, like I got my normal size, which is a medium, but as I wear them, it kind of like stretches and loosens up a little bit. So if you wanted a tighter fit, I would probably go down um, to like size down one. Just as a side note.
yeah. The only organic, it's organic cotton and some linen. But the only um, company that's popping in my mind is Pact,
Yeah,
Pact. They do a lot of underwears.
yeah.
So
I have actually gotten my husband underwear from there, and he does like them. Yeah, only once. Yeah, so I don't think I've ever personally bought anything from Pact, but I have heard good things about them. Um, and kids' clothes, one
oh, I
that
thrift all of her clothing. I thrift everything for her.
I I have very very infrequently purchased a new piece of clothing for him, but one of the few places that I have, and it was because I had some gift cards to there, is Kate Quinn. I don't know if you've heard of Kate Quinn,
Oh, yeah,
but they have a lot of organic cotton stuff.
yeah, they
They
do.
are trying to, I think, like bring in some bamboo stuff now too, but I just like you can, select to see what you want. And they have really
Mhm.
cute prints for babies and for kids. I love their
Yeah,
stuff.
they do.
It's super adorable.
Yeah,
And they drop like new collections of stuff all the time. So
yeah,
that's a good one for
yeah.
kids.
Kate Quinn, Burt's Bees has a lot.
That's right.
Even Carter's has an organic cotton line. It has to
Yes.
be like a specific store though, because not all of them carry the organic side of it.
I've actually seen a lot of that, the organic one from Carter's in TJ Maxx and Marshalls.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you checked there because my mom has gotten several for him. And there's the rabbit and bear. Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
That's we've seen that at TJ Maxx and Marshalls too. I don't know if they have it at Ross. I know they're all kind of connected.
TJ Maxx is great.
Yes, we love TJ Maxx around here. Rabbit and Bear, it's an organic cotton brand for kids, and they have really cute stuff too. So that's always a good option. Um, so let's talk about barefoot shoes. Have
I'm
you
barefoot.
have you fully switched over to like barefoot or barefoot shoes?
Yes, yes, I have. I have closed-toed barefoot shoes and sandal barefoot shoes. I have Vivo Barefoot for my
Mhm.
closed-toed shoes and Earthrunners for my sandals.
I haven't done
Um,
runners yet, but I have heard a lot about them.
yeah,
Oh no, I remember you shared on Instagram that you got this a while back. Now that I think about
yep. I have been wanting them for, yes, my brother. um, oh gosh, my train of thought. Um, yeah, I've been wanting them for um, probably a year. And like my husband would be like, okay, we'll get them for like this special occasion coming up. And then something would happen and we would need our money for something else.
it.
And then he'd be like, okay, you can get them next time. So finally got them for my birthday. And if I'm honest, I really like them. But if you lace them too tight, they are so uncomfortable and they hurt so bad. So do not lace them too tight.
On the
um,
Earthrunners, how are they
yeah.
like? Are they like a strappy sandal?
Um, I'll use my hand. So they come up through here, and they lace around the back of your ankle. And so there's just one. strap
Oh,
on
nice.
top of your foot. And
So
then
is it like a buckle?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I understand what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I still need to lace them properly because there's like, it comes with an excess. So based on your foot shape and width and how thick it is or whatever, it comes with excess. So you cut it off and you have to burn the end immediately. Otherwise it starts fraying. So I still have yet to do that.
Because they're leather, right?
I don't think these straps are leather. I think the straps are actually synthetic. Um,
But the base of the shoe is leather?
but the base is, I think,
I haven't,
rubber and then leather on top.
okay. I haven't looked into the Earthrunners very much. I'm not sure.
Um, yeah, I'm sure there's better like if you're more conscious about the material it's made from, there's better options
Yeah.
for sure. But I went with this because I wanted like
Yeah.
the
Shoes
roomy
are
look.
hard, though. Shoes are hard, like, to find non-synthetic
And,
materials.
yeah, and when you do, they're very expensive.
They are. Yeah. Agreed. I can't even remember what got me started on barefoot shoes. But I would say it was probably 21. So about 3 years ago, I guess, is whenever I got my first pair of barefoot shoes. And I don't remember why I like why I wanted to get the barefoot shoes, or what made
Mm-hmm.
me like look into that. But I have had for a very, very long time, like as long as I can remember, really bad bunions on both of my feet. And my this is terrible. My my brother-in-law made the joke years ago while we were sitting down at dinner one time. Somehow we were talking about mine and my sister's feet, and my husband and my brother-in-law were like cutting up about our feet because they look janky. Okay, I am not gonna be a foot model at any stage of my life. That's not gonna happen. But like no one would pay for pictures of my feet. Let's just put it that way. Like even the people with the feet fetish are not gonna pay to see my I know that sounds so terrible, but they're
No.
awful. But my brother-in-law, he was like, yeah, he's like Anna's feet. He said when you look at them, he said like it looks like she's walking one way, but she's really walking the other because there's like my toes are so crooked.
That's so rude.
It was so insulting, but I couldn't help but laugh because it's so true. Like it's honestly ridiculous. Like my big toe, yeah, if you look at my big toe, it's like this way. So like if I'm standing straight, my left big toe is really crooked. Now, wearing barefoot shoes and like doing some strength training in my feet, because I, had to realize it's not just about being barefoot. Like you have to, strengthen your feet. My right foot has gotten significantly better. My left one a little bit, but not as much as I would like to see it. But that's that is a work in progress.
Yeah. I've seen people wear like toe spacers in their barefoot shoes.
Yes. So I started with the toe spacers. And what's funny is like when I was probably 12 years old, my mom bought me toe spacers because she was like, I saw these things and they're going to help your bunions and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is so dumb. Why would I do this? And then I lost them. And then whenever I was like, oh, hey, toe spacers are cool now. Then I tried to like dig under my my bathroom cabinet from when I was a kid and see if I could find them under there. Didn't find them, so I had to buy some. But they're like really cheap on Amazon. I think I got mine for like $12. And at the time I was working in a lab, or I think I was just starting my job there, and I had to have closed-toed shoes that were like no mesh because if any like chemicals or things got spilled, my feet had to be protected. So I was going to be wearing these shoes 5 days a week. So I knew like if I, spent a little bit extra money, I was going to be getting, my money's worth. So I got a pair of Vivo Barefoot because that was like I think where I originally had seen it. Some of their just like black sneakers. Um,
I think we have
and
the same here.
really,
Yeah, is it just like the black comes up to your ankle kind of?
um, they're like like ankle cut sneakers,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's like white around like the side of the sole, but then it like
Mhm.
tan comes up the back.
Oh, okay. Mine are all black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine are. I don't know if you recently got yours because mine are few years old. Which, come to think of it, I don't even know where those shoes are at. They're so scuffed up from working in the lab. Um, yeah, yeah. So, I got those. Those were kind of like an investment purchase, and then because I live like 9 out of 12 months of the year in sandals, um, I asked for sandals for my birthday, and so my mother-in-law got me Zero, Xero, and I've had those for 3 years now, and I really love those. Like the Z strap sandals, I really like those. So from then on, I like slowly converted my my shoes over because I used to be a big shoe person. Like at one point, I had probably I know this sounds terrible. I had like 200 pairs of shoes.
Oh, wow.
I used to be a huge shoe girl. Um,
Were you like a high heels
oh
person?
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. If you saw me 6 years ago, you would have. I don't think you would have recognized me because yeah, I was a totally different person.
Yeah.
Not like when I say totally different, not like in my faith and things like that, but
Right.
like my lifestyle was very different than how I am now. Um, so I don't wear heels at all anymore. Um, I slowly like phased them out, went to the little like grainy short block heels. And then eventually I got two pairs of Shapen Barefoot. They have like these dressier flats. The one are like Mary Jane sandals that have like a little like anklet strap, and then the other ones are um, ballet. Well, yeah, the ones are like ballet, so like it comes across your whole foot, and then the other ones are the Mary Janes where it like has just the toe and then the heel with a strap. So those are like the only two pairs of shoes that I wear to church because they're like my nicer pairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I'm up to like 7 pairs of shoes now, and that's all that I have. Like they're all barefoot and they're all um, that's like my only shoes. It's like 7 pairs of
Yeah.
shoes. I have a pair of boots from
The mud
Limbs.
boots.
No, those are my rain boots. I just got those and I
Oh,
love them. They're awesome. Yes. Okay, so my rain boots, those are Saguaro. Limbs Boulder boots. Those are my winter boots. Those are leather. 2 pairs of Shapen Barefoot, which are my dressy shoes. My Zero sandals. Wherever my um, Zero, not Zero. What am I saying?
ballet flats.
No, the sneakers.
Oh,
Vivo. Vivo. Yeah, wherever those are at. Don't know where those are at. And um, I also recently just got a pair of brown leather flats that are the grounding shoes. They have like the copper rivet in them. And it's not the one that has been going around on Instagram. I got these before I saw that, and I was glad that I did because they were cheaper than theirs. um, yeah, those. So 7 pairs of shoes. Yeah, from
nice.
200 to 7. I feel proud of myself. Proud of
Yeah,
myself.
I've always run around barefoot from when I was younger. I was like barefoot, didn't want to put shoes on. But yeah, right now I have 3 pair. I have not barefoot cowboy boots, cowgirl
Yeah.
boots. Um, I
If
wear them.
somebody makes a pair of cowboy boots that are barefoot, I will love them forever. I
Yeah,
want a pair so bad.
yes. That's all my husband wears, and I'm like, we need to get you some barefoot shoes, like, because that's all he wears, and they're not terribly like smushing.
Yeah.
They're wider, but they don't allow your toes to do what they're supposed to do.
And then the
Um,
heel too. with the cowboy boot.
Oh, yep.
But
Hmm.
like you said, like the square toe on, if you get a square toe cowboy boot, it's pretty wide.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, I have so pair of cowgirl boots, and then I have my Earthrunners sandals, and then I lied to you. I don't have Vivo Barefoot. It's Ahinsa, Ahisa. It's from Europe or something. That's where my black shoes are from, and they're like, but,
I have never heard of that. Ahinsa. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard that brand.
so I have
Those are
three
cute. Those look like
pairs.
Vans.
Oh,
Yeah, the ones that, well, that just, when I typed it in, I think I see what you're talking about, though. The all black ones.
right.
But the first ones that popped up, they look just like a pair of Vans. Those are cute. I like those. Yeah. Have you done any shoes for the baby yet?
No, and originally I was like totally against socks. I'm like, she's never wearing socks.
They're gonna
Um,
squish their toes.
which I avoid socks, but like when it's cold outside, I'm gonna put socks on her.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, I haven't done any shoes. But if I do, definitely gonna be barefoot. I'm not gonna subject her to. I feel so proud of myself, like that I figured this out before she's like in shoes, because I'm
Yeah.
like, if I would have like squished her poor little feet, I would have felt so bad. Um,
I
so it's
totally
no hate to anybody else. Like you learn along the way, but like I'm so glad I learned before.
yes. I think it's
Um,
okay. I think it's okay to be proud of yourself for like gaining knowledge earlier on than somebody else may have, you
mhm.
know? Like, and
Yeah,
like you said, everybody's at a different stage, you know, and you learn as you go. You can only do what you can with the knowledge that you have at the time. But
right,
like, I do pride myself a little bit in knowing that, you know, I feel like I'm figuring out some of these things before my kids are too old, you know, for like it's going to make an impact early on, I guess is what I'm saying.
right,
So,
yeah.
and that's not
Mhm.
being conceited. That's just like I feel confident in my
Yeah,
motherhood. I'm proud
and
of
it's
that.
not even like it's not that I'm like wanting to boast about it to other people. Like I'm proud, like for my kid.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not like I'm proud so I can show off to you.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I I think that's one of like the biggest things when it comes to like comparison in motherhood is everybody thinks that anything that you do, or if, especially with social media, if you post about something like, oh, look what I did, or like, you know, this is a choice that I've made for myself or for my children, everyone takes everything so incredibly personal. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's an attack against, you know, like if you post something that I don't do, well, then that's just an attack against me.
Right.
That's not the point. That's not the point. I I don't. Yeah, I digress.
Yeah. Yeah. People think because you don't post about all aspects of the topic that you're talking about that you're attacking them.
Yes, I think I really wish that we could exist in the world today. We could exist in our social media world today with just the general understanding, like going into everything, that there is nuance to everything,
Yeah.
and just because somebody says one thing and does not provide a disclaimer or does not cover all facets of it does not mean that they like live that or believe that as a hard and fast rule for all people, including themselves and others. Like, I can, you know, I can hold a stance and like believe that very strongly, but also recognize and like put the facts out there, but not like you know, it's hard. It's hard to, especially on social media, to share information and people not come at you and be like, well, what about this situation?
Right.
Or what about this? Like, there's nuance. We know
Mm-hmm.
this. Like,
Yeah.
insert that assumption there at the beginning and then take in the information.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking about breastfeeding one time and how, like, I was going to make a personal choice to not use bottles because I wanted to exclusively breastfeed, no pumping, and I knew that if I had bottles physically around me, I'm more likely to utilize something if it's within reach, if it's convenient. So not having it there is, pushed me toward my goal. If I ended up needing a bottle, I could literally go to the store and buy one. It's not that big of a deal. Amazon has, 1 day shipping now. It's not even 2 day, it's 1 day. It's insane.
My brother got something in 4 hours from Amazon.
You're kidding.
Where did you get that?
Oh my goodness. That's scary. That's terrifying, honestly.
I need this now.
Oh. But I had people coming on that post talking to me, like, not everybody can breastfeed, blah blah blah. And then this one lady started this whole dissertation about there are some women who have had surgeries, and because they have breast cancer and they've had to have their breasts cut off and they can't breastfeed and they're gonna have to use bottles. And I was like, ma'am, we understand that if you don't have boobs, you can't breastfeed, okay? Like, no one is... I understand you're gonna have to use a bottle if you have no breast to breastfeed with. That's common sense, okay? Please don't take my personal decision to not use bottles as an attack on mothers who have had breast cancer. Like, that's not the point. Oh my goodness. I don't even know why or how I got into that, but yeah, I think we were talking about barefoot shoes for babies.
Yeah, and now we're talking about boobs.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
I will not do the rabbit trail. I already did the rabbit trail, so let's go back. We're circling back around.
But yes, I have 3 pairs. 2 pairs. 2 pairs of barefoot shoes, 1 pair of not barefoot shoes that this is like, I'm all for barefoot shoes, but this like solidifies why I am. So we went to the rodeo. My husband bought me these beautiful rose leather cowgirl boots like 2 years ago when we were first dating, I think. Could have been for my birthday. So he.
I know. How long did y'all date, engaged, married? Like, what was the timing there?
Yeah, I didn't talk about this last time. So from the day we met, we got married the day we met a year later.
A year later, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we did it on purpose. We met on the 22nd of January. No. December 22nd, met, got married December 22nd, a year later.
Okay, cool.
Yep. We were engaged for 3 months.
So did y'all like start dating right away, like officially?
No. That includes like the talking stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, when you know what you want, go for it, man.
Yep.
I ain't gonna stop you.
My dentist, I was engaged at the time, and I went to the dentist because I had braces, and I got them off right before my wedding. I was like, so I went in to get my braces off, and the hygienist was like, so why are you getting married so fast? Because like 3-month engagement was like, I guess, surprising to them. And I'm like, well, what's the point in waiting if we're engaged and we know we want to get married? Like,
also, like, not your business, ma'am.
And she goes, are you pregnant? Is that why you're getting married so fast?
Wow, that was bold.
Like, no. So, yeah. The whole dentistry, all the women, there's only one man that works there. So all the women were like, she must be pregnant. And like, why are you getting married? And like questioning all my decisions. I'm like, you're my dentist. You are not my mother.
Honestly, now that you say that, and it makes me think, like, all the dental hygienists, because I, growing up, only went to the same dentist, they are very nosy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I just had to call the dentist for the first time in 5 years because I had a separate dentist while I was living in Tennessee. But I just had something happen that I need to go in for like a non-emergency appointment. Yeah, we talked about this, but um, and yeah, they are all of them because it's like they kind of keep up with you, I guess, over the course of your lifetime, and so
Right.
they just think they are entitled to your business. That's kind of funny
Mhm.
now that I think about that.
Yeah.
But how bold of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Anyways.
I keep on
No,
bringing
it's
other
the
random
rabbit
stuff.
trails are fun. But I don't remember what I was saying.
We are already over an hour today, so we might need to wrap up soon. And I think
Sure.
we were also wanting to talk about like body products too. Do
Yeah.
you want to kind of get into that for a little bit just before we?
Sure. Um, yeah, I used to use Bath and Body Works,
Same.
which is so bad.
I
So
remember
bad.
going in at like 10 years old and going over to the sinks and be like, I'm gonna try every single one that's on the counter.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness. And now I smell my sister's candle like 2 floors above me and I'm like gagging.
Yeah.
It's so strong. Oh man.
But yeah. Um, yeah, I don't use any fragrance. I use like essential oils. If I
What
want
are your
to.
thoughts on the essential oil thing? If you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Are we using them now? Are we not supposed to? I don't know anymore.
I don't. I don't think they're bad. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like something like if you know where it's coming from and like all they did was distill the oil from the plant, like I don't really see how it can be harmful.
Well, I guess the argument that I've heard is like it's they can be so potent because it's just
Right.
one aspect, just like one property of the herb instead of
Mm.
the whole herb.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not the uh historical is not the right word that I'm looking for, but like it's not the traditional way of utilizing herbs. You're supposed to use the whole herb form, which
Okay.
is safer. It applies all the properties versus just the essential oil, which can be toxic if you use
Huh.
it in the wrong way. And I can see the argument. Like
Yeah.
I definitely get where you're coming from, but I will be very truthful and say that at this stage in non-toxicness, I have bigger fish to fry and
Right.
other problems to worry about before that. So I already use essential oils very sparingly.
Yeah.
I personally don't even like I don't buy them. My mom has a whole cabinet full of them, so I just like go and steal some from her if I need them.
Yeah.
But I've done like I think the most recent thing I've done is put some essential oils in my tallow balm that I made, which I know you made some recently too. If you want to talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. We don't use lotion. Oh my gosh. People are like, okay. Here was the hard part. Having a baby, getting pregnant. People want to gift you Johnson and Johnson lotion. Johnson and Johnson bubble bath, Johnson and Johnson lavender, nighttime, all the things. I'm like, and I was very like strict and honest. Like, we are doing non-toxic things for my baby. Please do not buy me anything that is not on the registry. So we didn't get very much of it, which was very nice. Because I didn't have to regift a bunch of stuff. Or even dump it in the trash can. But yeah, so started making our own moisturizer out of tallow, which is rendered down beef fat. So we got just a couple pounds of beef fat from this, I guess I'll just say the company. Law Ranch is who we go through here in Texas. And
Do you
They're
use
like,
the suet tallow, or like does it matter for you?
define the difference.
Um, I know people call it different things. I've heard it called suet tallow or leaf tallow. It's like
Mm.
it's the fat that's around the vital organs
Oh, okay.
instead of that's cut off the meat. So
Yeah.
like there's less processing that you have to do. Like it's cleaner fat.
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
that
we just got fat off of extra meat trimmings is what
okay?
we got.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just render it down, and there's a lot, there's a lot of controversy on the process of rendering it down. I'm finding out.
Yeah, I did not know that until I started Googling, and I was like, okay, this is too much for me.
Yep. So I rendered it down with water.
That's how I do it too.
That's
Yeah.
controversial for some people.
Water and salt.
Um,
That's what I did.
yep. And then what I did was wait till I let it cool so the fat will rise to the top and kind of harden at the top, and then just scoop it out and then render it down again until it's semi-clean. I didn't do it like a billion times. I did it, I think, 2 or 3 times, which is also controversial. This sounds so dumb. Rendering your beef fat 3 times is controversial.
Well, I'm sure what is really controversial is the fact that I, like, absolutely torched my beef fat. Like, it's straight up black. It was,
Oh.
it was horrible. I put it on the stove. Didn't have
Oh yeah, you told me you burned it.
Yeah, I forgot to turn the heat down, and if you've never rendered tallow before, the the fat melts really quickly. You don't have to leave it for an extended period of time, and so you can do it on like a low heat. And so I turned it on, forgot to turn the heat down, sat down to nurse the baby, fell asleep with him, and like 2 hours later woke up to this rolling boil of beef fat that had like I didn't even know that it could do that, but like whatever water content was in it, and I didn't add water to it at that stage, had like evaporated. So it was less than where it started. It was pure black. And then my stupid brain, acting like I had never cooked a day in my life, was like, you need to cool down this pot of hot oil. Put cold water in it. And then proceeded an explosion of hot oil across my kitchen. Thank God I did not have the baby in there with me.
Yeah.
That was that mess took probably a week to clean up. I'm not even gonna lie. I just kept on finding this black goop in just crevices of the kitchen that I didn't even know were there. So, yeah. Anyway. That was not the not a high moment in my homemaking career at all.
Man.
Yeah.
But yes, we make it. Yeah, so that's what I use for moisturizer. Where I live, it's very humid, so I don't use a lot of moisturizer. Honestly, like my skin's not dry that often. I'm more likely sweating than not. So, um,
See, I feel
yeah,
like I still have dry skin even if I do sweat. It doesn't matter for me.
Huh.
Especially on my
I guess
legs. Like
I have a little
know
bit. I have oily skin, so
okay. Yeah, I tend to be on the drier side. But one thing that I noticed that you mentioned when you were sharing that on Instagram is that you said you were going to do 100% tallow the next time. Whenever I've made, because for context, I did remake another batch, y'all. I got it right that time, and it turned out white and beautiful like it's supposed to be, not just, yeah, not horrid. Oh, my question to you was, did you end up doing 100% tallow, or did you mix it with the olive oil again? And how did that turn out for you? Because I did mine with olive oil. Olive oil.
yeah. So at first I saw like, because I looked up like some recipes, like how to do it. So everything that I saw was like you whip the liquid form of it which was not working for me. So I waited. The first time I made it, I added olive oil, which makes it a lot more spreadable. So that was the first time I made it, and I was like, oh well, if I end up like giving this to a friend, or if I want to sell it to somebody, like I want it to be 100% tallow. I don't want to have like other things in it. So I tried it again, and so I guess two separate issues. The second time I did it, I left it without olive oil, and it came out a lot thicker, which personally I didn't like, because it kind of made like my skin feel like I couldn't breathe after I used it. So I did like it with olive oil in it, because it kind of cut it and made it a little more breathable on the skin. So that was the first issue, and then I got it resolved with the whipping process, because the first time I did it, I whipped it when it was cool, but it was still in liquid form, because that's what the recipe said to do. So the second time, I let it solidify, and then I put it in my KitchenAid mixer with the whisk attachment, and then I just whipped it up like you would whip butter, I guess. And it worked great. It turned out really well. But yeah, I don't like it 100% tallow, because it feels like my skin is like trapped underneath it. So if you have dry skin, I would assume that you would like it like that. But because I have a little bit more oily skin, I like a little more breathability in it. So yeah.
I did, and this is the only way that I've made it, I did like a 1-to-3 ratio of olive oil to tallow. So like for every cup of tallow, I did a third cup of olive oil. And that seemed to be, I think I could probably use a little less olive oil next time, but I so far have really liked that combination. And if you don't even know like why we would be putting beef fat on our skin, on our bodies, because yes, I know that does sound crazy. Historically, tallow has been used in all sorts of skincare and beauty. It's been used, to make candles and things like that. But there's so many vitamins inside of tallow that are great for your skin. And to my understanding, it is the closest like oil, like the structure is the closest to our own like sebum, however you say that word, that our skin produces. And so it's just a really great option for human bodies. And I love it. I use it on the baby. I use it all purpose. It's not just lotion for us.
It's a great diaper cream.
Yes, it's a great diaper cream for like sunburns, rashes, just general like, dry skin or cuts. I love to put like, if I have a cut or something like that, or scratches. And then I just use it every day for like face cream and lotion and, all over body. If it's skin, I put tallow on it. And I know that people are making like tallow makeup and stuff, not just skincare, but they're making like, tallow makeup. And I personally don't wear makeup, so that's not an investment for me, but I think it's pretty cool that you can do that. I think, I'm trying to think of what one of the companies that I know that does that. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway.
For our deodorant, we get Primarily Pure, and they use tallow in the deodorant.
Oh, okay.
So
I've heard lots of good things about Primarily Pure. I don't wear deodorant, to be perfectly honest. I just, after a while of not wearing deodorant, obviously like we don't want aluminums and stuff in there, but I don't have a lot of body odor. And so I just like don't see the need for it. I have heard of people using limes though, lime juice. Have you seen that? I did not know that was a thing actually until Really Very Crunchy. She did that in one of her reels. And I was like, what in the world? And I looked it up, and apparently lime juice in your pits is a thing. Didn't know that. Haven't tried it. Don't know if it works. But my husband uses, what does he use? Native, which I know was good for a while, but has recently, or not so recently, been bought out by Procter and Gamble, I think. But that's one of those things where he uses it and it still has decent ingredients, so I'm gonna roll with that. That's one of the things I'm sure we can talk
You
about.
can't
Like,
be perfect.
yes, it's interesting, like having a crunchier spouse than the other, and trying to like transition them over to stuff. I'm sure we could talk about that at some point, but yeah. So he uses that. I don't use anything. So if anybody like sees me in public and I'm walking around and I just like really stink, please let me know. I'm not aware of it, and nobody's told me so far. But I'll go buy myself some limes at the store if I need to.
Yeah. A salt stick works great also.
Salt stick?
Yeah, the brand is called like Thai salt stick or something.
Heard of that?
So it's in the shape of a deodorant, and you wet it, do it in your armpits, wet it again so it is refreshed, do it on the other one, and wet it, and then you're good. And so it kills any nasty stuff and bacteria in your armpits.
Yeah, and then I get the salt is absorbent, like in your armpits too. So, okay, I haven't heard of that. That's cool. I'll have to look that up. What do you do for oral care, like toothbrushes, toothpaste, that kind of stuff? Because I recently switched mine, and I like it. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it or not, but yeah. What are your thoughts on that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we actively avoid fluoride because it's a neurotoxin, and there are other ingredients that can remineralize your teeth
Yes.
without giving you the chemical exposure. So
Hydroxy appetite. Yeah.
Yes, something like that.
Hydroxy appetite.
So we use Risewell. Risewell is our toothpaste company that we go through. Love them. I just won a giveaway with Wilson Homestead and Risewell, and I got the whole I was like, yes.
That's
came in the mail last night.
Love that for you. That's awesome.
So nice. It was my first time to ever win a giveaway on Instagram, and I was so excited. But yeah, that's the toothpaste we use. For toothbrushes, we do bamboo toothbrushes. But that could be a whole topic because I don't know if bamboo toothbrushes, the bristles, I think it's still plastic.
I think a lot of them are. I don't know the brand of the one that I use. All I know is that I get it from my favorite coffee shop in town. They have a little naturally market type of thing inside the coffee shop, and that's where I just got this a couple months ago, and I've been using it, and I do like it so far. Not sure if I'm going to stick with it, like I said, but it's from Canary is the brand. You can order it online, but it's like a little glass jar, and it's toothpaste tabs, and so you they're solid. You pop them in your mouth and you chew it up, and then you wet your toothbrush and then brush, and it gets suds and everything. And it has nano hydroxyapatite in it, and it's peppermint oils. And I actually really like it. I feel like my teeth get very clean. Haven't been to my dentist since I started using this, so don't know if that's the case. But I also got the bamboo toothbrush that they sell there, and I was really surprised because, like you said, I've only seen ones that have plastic bristles in it, and they say if you're going to compost it or something, you have to pull the bristles out. But this one says that they're made from castor bean. So I guess the plant that the castor oil comes from, they somehow put it into a small fiber like it's solidified, and it's made from castor oil or castor bean. I don't know exactly how that works, but I'll have to find the name of the toothbrush. I don't know. You're making a lot of noise. Are you okay? I'm sure that we could go on for a very long time about all of these things, and we can link everything that we can remember that we talked about in the description box. But is there anything that you can last second think about that we haven't talked about that we might need to cover?
Nothing is coming to, well, I guess like this, like sexual health is kind of coming to mind, like lubricants, all like that kind of thing that could be talked about. But we don't need to go all into that. But that's the only thing that's popping up in my brain.
So we keep a bottle of coconut oil on the nightstand for that. But to be honest, it can be, let's put it this way. Whenever you are co-sleeping, bed sharing with an infant, usually when the time comes, you have to act quickly, and it can be like frustrating to have to scoop out hard oil, and because like ours is at room temp, so it's solidified, and then like have to rub it in your hands and like get it. So 9 times out of 10, spit works fine. I'm just gonna be honest. That's what we go with. Don't tell anybody I said that, but you know, it's natural. It comes from your body. It's going on your body. You'll be okay. Okay, just pull me out of that hole I just dug, please.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm just like imagining my mom listening to this. Like, do I want to say what I'm thinking? I don't know. But yeah, we use coconut oil. We have used spit. My husband is like, I'm kind of like, I don't want to do that because, okay, I'm just going to say it. Like, usually you don't have enough spit. And sometimes your spit is too watery. It's not thick enough. So I'm usually the
It evaporates really quickly too. Like,
yeah, it does.
You lose the lubrication really fast, but you know.
Yeah. So I usually reach for coconut oil. Even coconut oil, like the friction can heat up and it can hurt for the guy. We've had that happen before.
Okay, I didn't even think about that. But that does make sense. And I could see that.
Really loud. My dad has a lawnmower. Okay.
No, it's not that bad. I can't hear it. I'm sure you can't. I'm sure it's not any louder than him crying and nursing is. So that's just what we're doing here.
But yeah, we can wrap it up there. We could go on and on.
Yeah, we could get really in the weeds talking about body products. Do you have any recommendations for makeups? Because like I said, I don't wear any makeups. I don't know where you're at on that or what you use, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not against makeup. I think if used sparingly, it can look really pretty, and I think it can be fun. But I don't think you should use it as like to cover up insecurities or use it as like a lie. Like, I mean, I've seen women like you can't even tell it's them when they're not wearing it. So 9 times out of 10, I do not wear makeup. I have a mascara and a blush. I can't remember the names. My mom just ordered from 100% Pure makeup company, and they use like fruit juices, and like herbs for their colorings and stuff. So I'm not sure if it's 100% pure, but that's the only makeup brand that I can think of. But usually I'm not wearing makeup. Like the last time I wore makeup was probably, I don't know, 6 months ago. So
I've always, like, I've literally never ever worn makeup. That's just something that I've never done. But I've always seen, you know, like little reels or videos on YouTube or something about, you know, how to do your makeup and stuff. And as an artistic person, I've always like fancied myself that if I ever decided I wanted to put on makeup, I would just naturally be very good at it. But I know that that is a lie, and it would look horribly caked on, and I would not know any, like, at all what I was doing. So I think it's just best for me to not start. Not even going to like go down that road. But also, like, I mean, if people aren't aware, there's some weird things in your makeup, like, you know, beetle juice, like literal beetle juice for coloring and stuff, and they'll use baby boys' foreskins from circumcisions for stem cells and like just wild things. I can't believe that our skincare industry is doing that to women. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up because we could end up making this a very long conversation. I'm sure we could talk for a couple more hours about this kind of stuff. But I think we have gone over a lot so far. We've given some good recommendations for like sourcing and companies that we like to find clothing and barefoot shoes and what do we say? Like tallow and skincare. I love Olivia for body wash. I don't know if you use Olivia. Generally, we do no soap at all, but yeah, that's a whole other thing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Anything else that you have to say?
No, just be conscious about what you're putting on your biggest organ, your skin, and in your body.
Yes, for sure. I think that we can all, there's areas for us to all do better, you know, when it comes to what we put on our bodies. So just like you said, being conscious about it, thinking about, you know, what you're putting on your body, in your body, all of the things, in, on, above, around, all the positions. But it is time for me to go take care of this baby. Poor guy. He's still not feeling well. So anyway, we'll see y'all next week on the podcast. Thank you for joining us here on Motherhood, and don't forget to let us know if there are any conversations that you want us to have, to talk about, any topic suggestions. We are always happy to take those, and we are super excited to be on this journey of our first season podcasting. Like we've said before, all very new to us, so y'all are going to get to hear us work through the kinks and the little hiccups that we have along the way. So thank you for joining us. I enjoy talking with you, Sophia.
Thank you. Me too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.